league position, and the dude comes through. He enjoys those moments. There's a lot of guys that can put up a lot of numbers, but to carry it in big situations is a certain type of player.
Jeff Bagwell, as we watched baseball in 2020, we watch a guy like Alex Bregman, who has had a fantastic start to his career. But just looking at his body of work so far as a major leaguer, there are some similarities, I think, between him and you with the number of walks and yet the runs batted in. I love these 100 years, 100 runs scored, 100 runs batted in. You had 8 of those. He's had 2. He's off to a nice season, 26. Right. So what do you see in him that you've really liked so far?
Well, the most important thing is you have to be available and out there every day, basically accountable. He doesn't want days off. He wants to play. He relishes the moments, as we've seen over and over again throughout his, short career already. And he strives to be the best. You start rolling in 100 RBIs and 100 runs scored and 100 walks too. Those are your benchmarks. And Alex wants to go farther than that. I'm sure he wants to do 120, 120. And I think that fire to have a standard, that's how you believe. But at the end of the year, you keep putting yourself out there, giving yourself opportunities, being there for your teammates. Those numbers are going to happen, and Alex always wants to get better.
The thing that he did that I thought really was unusual, and you might have experienced this before in a clubhouse, I can't remember running across this, was he decided, hey, we've got a lot of Spanish-speaking guys in our clubhouse. I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to get closer with them. That I thought was really exceptional.
Well, that's leadership right there. That's a team thing. It's not, it's not a individual thing. He's not speaking Spanish to make himself better, although it does make you better. I wish I could speak it too, but he's doing it to communicate with everybody on the infield, whether it's good Spanish or not. He still is making the effort to do that, and that's leadership.
Yeah. Now, like you, Bregman had to switch positions.
Yeah.
And it was a similar thing in that the club needed you to play somewhere else other than where you had played. So you made the transition across the diamond, first base, and that takes some time. And then, as you mentioned, he moved from short to third because he had Correa at shortstop. The really good athletes seem to have that. Okay, I really like to be a shortstop, but
right.
Yet the team needs me to do this. I've got to find a way to pick this up, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, in my position, which is definitely not as hard as playing shortstop and definitely not as hard as playing third base either. But Bob Watson told me, well, you can play third base in AAA in Tucson, or you play first base in the big league. So I think I'm not the smartest guy, but I can pretty much handle that decision. Alex, being such a good athlete and being a shortstop, to move over to third, it's a little bit quicker over there. There's not as much time to think, and I think sometimes that helps. But Alex, he has found a niche on how to play that the right way. All third basemen, when I played third base in the minor leagues, I'd either throw it in the stands or 28 hop it over there. So, I didn't know how to throw, and Alex kind of had to train himself to throw it in a different way. He's gotten better and better every year defensively at third base. There's not many guys that make a play on the run as good as Alex does. And he's learned how to do that, coming from playing a shortstop at LSU.
And also the thing that's different from when you came up is with all the shifting, a lot of times he's playing out around where shortstop would play when you were playing.
That's exactly why he should have won the MVP last year. Not only did he move over there, but he played 60-something games at shortstop. No offense to Mike Trout, but he doesn't have to do that. And it's certainly a lot harder to do what Alex does than to play the outfield. You can ask Lance Berkman about that, what he thinks about the outfield. Anybody can catch a fly ball, as Lance would say. But, his value to our team with the shift, that he can handle that position where you're basically the only person on the left side of the infield. And Alex just does a tremendous job at that.
Well, Bill Brown and Jeff Bagwell just kind of enjoying now as spectators watching this great era of Astros baseball. Thanks, Baggy, for joining us today.
Thank you, Brownie. Appreciate it, brother.